Some great breaking news regarding Gary Numan was just dropped recently. Let's talk all about that. Hello to you, my friend, and welcome to the channel. Before we jump into today's content, I just want to make a quick shout out. I'm pleased to announce the release of my brand new 5-track EP entitled 1984. This 5-piece EP is based on George Orwell's 1984 masterpiece, and it is available now on Bandcamp, soon to be released on CD and also on streaming. Not the same. We have a heart, but we can start right here, right now. 1984, the writings on the wall. Black man, white man, surely we can work it out. Left wing, right wing, divided as our hearts sink. Mindless, soulless, restless on the brink. Communist, fascist, socialist, pacifist, politics, social fix. Dopamine, look at me, swipe left, swipe right. The music video to the feature track 1984 has just been released as well, and also I want to announce that my vinyl for the last year's release of Dark Society has just arrived, and I am so proud of it and so grateful to those of you who funded this and helped make it possible. Stock is available for the first pressing, and you can find links to everything, including the new 1984 EP, in the links in the description below. Right, let's jump into today's content. So I myself am a member of Gary Numan's Patreon community, and I always recommend people to join up to Gary Numan's Patreon community because, there's a lot of information on there that, he doesn't sort of share with the outside world. Every couple of weeks or so he pops up and he does like these Q&As, and it is really just a cool place to get in-depth information where you don't usually hear outside of the Patreon community. And it was announced yesterday in the Patreon community that a few gigs that are coming up, yesterday being the 31st of January, he announced the set of gigs which are going to be taking place in London. These gigs will be taking place in the Electric Ballroom on the 13th, 14th and 15th of April, and this is to celebrate his 1000th gig. Now, up until this point, Gary has done 997 gigs, so these 3 gigs at the Electric Ballroom will be gigs 998, 999 and 1000. Of course, me being a huge Gary Numan fan, I had to make sure that I was going to be there at the 1000th gig, which is going to be on the Saturday. So I shall buy my tickets soon, and I will definitely be there myself. So this is very exciting, and this is what's great about Gary is he's one of the hardest working people in the industry. Speak to anyone that works with him. His work ethic is just relentless, and he's constantly at it. So I just think this will be a great opportunity for us fans to, see him again. And if you just think of that, I mean, imagine doing 1,000 gigs. 1,000 gigs. That's a huge. But he has been at this for about 40 years now. So really excited about this, and I'd love to hear in the comments from you later on what you think about this as well. Now, Gary Numan fans are pretty loyal and pretty hardcore. And of course, I was, obviously I'm part of a lot of the Facebook groups, and so I did see the comments starting to appear this morning. And as Gary announced, I believe Raven, his daughter Raven, is going to be a special guest, so doing support. And of course there are opinions on that. I'm not going to get into that. Everyone has their opinion on that. I just think, if you look back at the interview I did with Gary the year before last regarding the release of Intruder, I did say to him what I like about him is he's really like, he's very family conscious. He's very pro-family. Going back to the years when he was, in his early 20s and he was touring. If you think of a lot of 20-somethings, they don't want to be seen with their mum and dad because it's not cool. But this is what I respected about Gary so much was, as I said to him in that interview, was, his dad was his manager, and his mum, I think she helped design his costumes, and she even did the mail order. I remember buying a CD from him once many years ago, and his mum, Beryl, God rest her soul, she sent it, she posted the CD out. So I just loved the whole sort of like, this is my family and I look after them. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, I think as a father you would do whatever you can, to support your children as parents do. So giving Raven the opportunity to be a special guest, why not? I don't see any problem with that at all. I think it's very, very difficult when you are an artist and your parent is a famous person. It can be very difficult. Certainly was the case, like if we just speak randomly, like Stella McCartney, who's a great artist. She, for many years, had to shake the sort of, oh yeah, you're only famous because, Paul McCartney's your dad. And of course, sidetracking just a little bit more, I remember doing an interview not too long ago with the Weird Wolves. And of course, Ava Gore from the Weird Wolves, her dad is Martin Gore. And I spoke about that on the interview, that it is difficult if you have a famous parent, because people will often say, oh, you're only there because your father or your mother are famous. And I personally don't subscribe to that idea, but I can see why people say what they do. But people always have their opinions. And with the internet, it certainly is the case. So I have been in contact with the great man himself, Gary Numan, and I don't want to promise anything, but we are talking about a possible interview via Zoom just a little bit later on. I don't want to promise anything. It's just that Gary's very, very busy, and so nothing's guaranteed. But he's very gracious, and he's always happy to talk to people. And in that interview, I do want to speak to him about, moving forward, the next album, and also about the re-release of the 3 legacy albums, Exile, Sacrifice, and Pure. Now, those are moving forward. I believe the recording is done on one of them. And I also, Aid Fenton, Aid, if you're watching, I'd like to come and see you again regarding the re-release of these 3 albums, because they are really, really great albums, Sacrifice, Exile, and Pure, and I really want to do a very in-depth series on that, but we'll get to that later. For now, though, I just want to hear from you. Please leave your comments in the description below. Will you be going to one of these London gigs? Which one will you be going to? Anything you want to say on the subject, and, are you excited about Intruder 2, and anything you want to say? With that, my friend, thank you for your time. Lots of love. If you've not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you. I'll probably see some of you at the Gary Numan gig. But I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Adios.